Meb, Boston champion, New York City Marathon champion, and also an Olympic silver medalist, father, husband, and a dear friend of mine. Thank you so much for joining us today and coming on and having this awesome conversation.
Hey, Carrie, good to see you. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we just want to first off just thank UCAN and CEP for putting this conversation on today. UCAN delivers, and we love UCAN. Steady, long-lasting energy without sugar, which is awesome. And it helps us stay in the game longer. You and I are getting older. We need it. And also CEP compression socks, sleeves, and their apparel are designed for those who expect more for their performance gear. And you know what? I think both of you and I love CEP gear as well. So thank you both for sponsoring this today. And Meb, we got to hear from the man himself. How you doing?
Well, the name of the game, stay in the game longer, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, definitely thank you to UCAN and CP for this opportunity and for my career, for giving me the longevity that I have had. And they were my secret weapons, and as well as many other sponsors. But really it's fun and different time than now, Carrie. It's a difficult, challenging moments, but at the same time, do what you can control, do what you can, and be the best that you can. And, kind of live, there's in a race, you kind of break into segments, and now real life, you have to break into segments,
Yeah.
win the day, as most people are saying now, win the day. That's what it is now. So we used to win miles or break into kilometers when we were racing, but now as the challenge goes on, and try to win every day.
It's been a tough time for all of us for many different reasons, not just COVID. It's just kind of been a weird time in our lives. I think we're all going to look back and think, how did we get through it? But the run is so important to us. And, you're on so many different podcasts and, telecasts and all kinds of different things promoting the sport, but also how you live such a healthy lifestyle. How have you been able to stay in the game this long? And I don't even think like at the top of the game, like just by loving the sport for all these years.
I mean, I've been very fortunate to have a wonderful career, and a illustrious career to say at the least, but it's been an amazing journey to be able to have fun, and it was a job, but it translated to something else. It's a passion of mine. It always started when I was in 7th grade, that I love sports and I love running. And when things got challenging, I always look back at my God-given talent from 7th grade, whether I had a sponsor or did not have a sponsor. I always look at that. And guess what now, as an ambassador for the sport of running, I still like to go every day if I can. I got to find a limit. Before it was, my barrier was 130 to 135 miles a week, as a competitor, staying healthy in between. But now, 6 miles to 8 miles, if I can get it in, I love doing that. And, as much as I can, enjoy it, because I just have my music. I have my gears that I use, whether it's UCAN or CEP or Skechers, whatever, to just have fun. And at the same time, when you get done, it's such gratifying. Sometimes you're like, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? It's raining, it's hot, try to make excuses. But when you go out and run and you come back, you become a new person. And especially with the pandemic and social injustice and all that stuff that's going on, mental toughness is important. And I think running does that. It's a therapy, and it gives you kind of perspective on things.
For sure. I just heard you before we pressed record say that you and the girls are in it for the long haul with all these drop-offs. So some of your kids go to in-person school right now. Is that correct, Meb?
Correct, Carrie. This is their second week in-person school. The first week was electronic or e-learning, but between my wife Jordanis and I, we try to do as much as we can. But at the same time, sometimes I'm been fortunate to work from home, just like my wife is, and we drop them off sometimes together, and other times just wait in line for 30 minutes, trying to stay in that air condition in Florida as I can. And then also, in case it rains and things like that, you want to be available. But, I was joking around saying, sometimes from the first drop off to the first pickup, second pickup, sometimes it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And,
yeah,
it's like a marathon, but at the same time, it's fun.
2 hours and 15 minutes of drop-offs and pickups. Did you ever think this is what retirement would be like?
Absolutely not. I knew I was going to be able to do, but, this is the first time they're going to 3 different schools. That's why the reason is, and one of Johanna, who is in 5th grade, I just walk, and then I get a ride on the way back, and then Sara, which is a high school, games out first, and then I go to Fiore, and so it's fun. And you know, retirement, you know, I never thought I'd get injured, which it did happen. I fell and kind of messed up my shoulder. And in terms of picking up the kids, absolutely. I mean, in terms of spending time with them, and you know, for me, it was a weekend job that I had to travel places, but Monday to Thursday or Monday to Friday, as much as I can, I have no problem dropping them off or picking them up from school.
How's your Danos doing, your wife?
Jordan's doing great. She's doing good. And, you know, we drop Fiore off, and then we go from there. She goes for her run or walk or bike, and I go for my run. And so, yeah, everybody's doing good so far. We've been very fortunate with the COVID-19 and others. So we can't complain.
That was one of my questions, was now that it's, you know, I know that you still need to stay fit and you love the sport and blah, blah, blah. I was wondering if your Danos ever said, it's my turn now, and I am going to go run at 8:30 in the morning, and you get to run when I'm done.
Yeah, the roles have switched to somewhat. Yeah, I mean, which is fine. I mean, she always said if she ever do a marathon, she done half marathon, few of them, but if she ever do a marathon, she always says, I need to train like you, and I need to take my nap, and then be able to do all those things that she allowed me to do. So, and she has a right to do so, but you know, she is not a heat person. She doesn't like to, I'm okay in the heat, but she doesn't. So sometimes she gets up early in the morning and does that. And I kind of help out with the kids, make sure they eat breakfast and they go to school, and, you know, it's a teamwork, team effort.
Yeah, it is a team effort. You know, we have talked a lot over the years about what UCAN has done for us, for our performance and for our training, but I know both you and I use it in our everyday health. But along with UCAN, what does your whole kind of diet look like now? I think a lot of people are always wondering, what is Meb eating? And not just as an elite athlete who's running 120 miles a week, but now as a guy that's maybe running 50 miles a week. How do you still get the right nutrients in to make sure you can get out the door every day, or on the days that you can?
You know, your dance is amazing in preparing me for a professional career, but now we're not as strict, which they're relief too, because the girls want to bake cookies. They go ahead and bake cookies and things like that, or sweets. But at the same time, being healthy is a lifestyle that Jordan and I chose to live by example for our kids. And you know, in the mornings, I just have tea or bagel and go for a run. And after I come back, while I stretch and whatnot, I'll have my UCAN chocolate flavored shake.
Me too. And then love it.
Love it. You know, it's great. I mean, it gives you the energy, gives you the, you know, whether you just want to hang out, do a couple emails, or one night in a rush. And then I will have a lunch and then have early dinner, and then that's about it. So, but I still love to have fruits and snacks in between. And if I need to have like a UCAN before I go to bed, then I'll have that versus, you know, having a late big meal.
Hold on. You said have early dinner and then is it done, Meb? Are you a guy that's like, okay, dinner and that's it? Because I have another chocolate shake every night.
That's good. Well, I mean, once in a while, if you are really, you know, want to have that energy and whatnot, you know, but we usually, Jordan and I always like to have early dinner as possible. Sometimes like 6:30, 7 o'clock. But now with the girls' soccer practice and things like that, it gets a little bit late. But other than that, you know, we have 1 o'clock lunch and then 5 o'clock dinner and then call it a day. But yeah, I mean, UCAN is there for you. And whenever you feel like it's a water and a packet, so, you know, utilize it the best that you can. And sometimes I have used it before a run, you know, if you want to have 45 minutes or so, or an hour before, you know, use the electrolytes or have a shake, you know, 10 ounces of water and a shake, it does the magic.
Yeah, I thought it was so cute the other day. I was out, I've been throwing the baseball like you won't believe. And so Ruby and Everett and Greer, my kids were outside, and Ruby had some of the other kids that we've been kind of quarantining with. She said, hey, do you guys want a UCAN bar? Because we had been out there for a long time, and it was so cute because I just think that, you know, leading by example in a quiet way is so important. And it just kind of warmed my heart because I was like, of course she's going to offer UCAN because she's working out and that's what I do. And I think that that's how your girls are as well. They've just kind of followed your lead all these years.
Absolutely. I mean, at times when we have the UCAN bar and when they're practice or having my backpack, they say, hey, you can have the UCAN bar, or you can have also the shake if they choose to. You deserve it
Yeah.
after a hard workout or you are in between meals. But yeah, I know Fiore is our football player. She likes to throw football, but unfortunately for me, about almost 20 weeks ago, I fell and injured my shoulder. So I have not been able to do that, just really, really hard. But catch it with the left one, and throw it. But I haven't been able to do push-ups and things like that just because of the serious injury. I did not expect that coming after retirement. I'll be honest.
No.
That was a shocker. But at the same time, she likes to throw football is what her thing is, or dribble soccer. I can dribble the soccer ball with them and have fun. But when you're hungry or feel something, the bars are a good one to go. And fruits around the house also another great example to lead by example.
Yeah, for sure. Are you going to have to get work done on your shoulder?
Yep, this is my fifth or sixth week doing therapy. I was a victim of the COVID. It was tough, but I had my doctor from New York, Dr. Andrew Rosen, prescribed me a MRI. Did the MRI, came up okay, but it's been I haven't done push-ups yet. So
I know, and everyone knows you love to do your push-ups.
no, it's been so that during this quarantine time, would have done a lot more core stuff, but if you can't do it, you can't do it. So just but I look forward to doing my first push-up hopefully soon.
Yeah, that was going to go into my next sort of segment. Like when we talk about Med Keflezighi, we think about just how durable you've been over the years. Yes, you've had some injuries, but they were usually just a random one or a really big one, not just, these small ones that kind of got in the way every other season. It was like a big one and then you were good for a while. Then you have another big one and you were good. How do you think you were able to do that and stay so strong and so fit all of those years?
I think the discipline to know your body is very important, but at the same time, being in the U.S. is knowing half of the solution is knowing the problem. And as soon as I know the problem, there have been so many people behind my team, whether it's doctors or physical therapists, at their recommendation, they give me the expertise. But Coach Larson and I also know that injuries are part of the sport. We don't want to push through them. We give it ample opportunity and time to heal, because when you rush it, that's when you get in trouble. It could be a career ending. But yeah, I had one not finish the race. That was the London Marathon, because it was Achilles in preparation for the trial. So bear in mind, April all the way to November, by you trying to make that right decision during the race in a split second. And this is Achilles, could be serious. But if I kept going, I might have tore the Achilles and, obviously not end my career, but even you could do things right. And I didn't end up making the Olympic team in 2008, which was frustrating because you try to do everything right. And sometimes the chips don't fall in the right places, but then other times does. But I think it's important to, sleep, recover, nutrition, to give you the longevity that you need for over the years, because it's not just when you get injured, prehab instead of rehab. I always said that, and you got to be able to do those drills, the stretches, the ice bath, the generation you can, the CEP compression socks that you can use in tempo run, long run, and all that stuff. Is until you put your head in the pillow, you are always thinking, what can I do better? Going to physical therapists, you go there to get work done, not because you're injured, but trying to prevent, because you just put your body through this week 135 miles a week. So sometimes you see them 3 times or 4 times a week. So you have to invest in your body diligently.
Though at 50 miles a week, you still can get hurt. And a lot of people that are working full time, like you and I do, and you're traveling, we're not traveling as much right now, but sitting in airplanes or sitting at a desk and then trying to get out for a run, or going for a run 15 minutes after you wake up in the morning, like I do, and not really warming the body up properly, that can cause injuries as well. So as you're now moving into more of the world where people can relate to you, how have you been able to stay healthy? I know you have your injury from your shoulder, but that was kind of a random fall. Are you still doing your drills and your stretching, or are there some things that you've given up that, you have to be careful with now?
I talk a lot in my book, Met for Mortals, but I have to be honest to saying, I have not been as thorough with the core. I have been, but the drills not as much. But the stretching, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing that I don't let it go. I did learn in high school, in college, professionally, and now as a retired runner. I do the calf stretch, maybe the hamstring, a few couples. Don't have to do a lot, but the most important thing is afterwards. So I do stretch those, and I would love to get back into more doing core stuff because of the shoulder I haven't. But I was doing pull-ups when just on the streets on Bayshore in Tampa, Florida. The pull-ups, the dips, and things like that. So I love getting a workout in and push-ups and medicine ball exercises, but I have not been able to do because of the circumstance. But at the end of the day, I always tell people run 1 mile less, whether you go 6-minute pace or 10-minute pace, 12-minute pace, and break it down to say, hey, I'm going to stretch 3 minutes before, 3 minutes afterward, or I'm going to stretch 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, or 6 minutes before, 6 minutes after. So you have to be able, it's not about going there extra miles anymore. It's just taking care of your body and run consistently week in, week out, and have fun in the meantime, and prevent injuries as much as you can.
Yeah, preventing injuries for me means wearing compression socks. Like, I'm not even doing a commercial here for CEP right now. I'm just saying every time I do a long run, or anytime I have some sort of, if my arch is tight or my Achilles is tight, I throw on my compression socks and I feel so much better. And I wear them for a good week, not just on the run, but after. How has CEP helped you throughout your career? Because Meb, you were one of the very first guys that wore those long, kind of different looking socks. And now everybody does it.
Fashion transcender, I guess.
Yeah, you totally are.
Oh, they're great. I mean, whether I'm running, I never know whether I'm doing any run. For me, was 7 days a week. I use CEP compression socks. I mean, my body's so used to it. Whether it's the ligaments or muscles and whatnot. When I do in the tempo or intense workout or just recovery runs, or when you travel. I mean, whenever I travel, I always have my long compression socks. Even when I'm making appearances in a business suit, I always have the black ones for recovery. So it is something that I believe in, and they've been great to be able to, I don't know anything else, but my doors are full of CEP compression socks. Now I'm in Florida. I use a little bit the shorter ones, but I still love them, put them on and go for a run. And it's one of my signature people recognize from miles away.
Totally. I think, Paula Radcliffe was one that wore the compression socks, and you and Dina then started as well. And now it seems like everybody's wearing them. I mean, they are really good for training and for recovery.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been sometimes, whether it's nurses or people who are on their feet a lot, you got to be able to have it. It should be something that you invest in. And, especially CEP compression socks. I went to Germany to visit the headquarters, and, they have to go, the thread is about almost a mile long, and they have to go through 26 or 27 protocols to make sure it's a really compression. So Medi, the parent company of CEP, does a great job. And I was just honored, privileged to go to Germany and kind of with the headquarters to be able to see how it's done.
Yeah. So what's up now? I mean, where are we going to find you? How have things changed for you in your career, your speaking, your appearances? Where can people find you in the next coming months when we're not going to maybe be able to see you in person?
Well, I've been fortunate to be an ambassador for the sport of running. I still have a lot of sponsors that allow me to be a spokesperson for them. And, I do a lot of Zoom calls to was it motivating or be part of a race like the Boston Marathon or New York City Marathon. And, it's been fun to be able to do that. And I think also it's this motivation. Some people, ask for their birthdays or want to order books, and there's no dull moments. People say, yeah, that was, you did a great job. And then, the Run to Overcome, also book who is an inspiration of the journey of myself and my family. So, besides spending time with the kids and going to the grocery store, and most of the time I'm home and spending time with them and have fun. And when I get a run in, I'm definitely a happier person.
Me too. I mean, I just did the UCAN long run challenge. I don't know if you saw that, Matt, but everyone started at different distances. Katie at UCAN started at her own distance. I started at my own, and I went from 10 to 20 miles. And every week I added 1 mile. And one of my big questions for you is, how are you staying motivated? Because for me, the long run challenge kept me motivated for those 11 weeks. And now I'm kind of like, what am I going to do? What do I want to get out the door for? And, you obviously still get out there. You're not racing anymore necessarily, but what is it that motivates you every morning or every evening to get out?
Carrie, that we have been the best that we can be as a professional athletes. And we had goals weekly, monthly, yearly, or is that Olympic year or not Olympic year? Why can't we try new things or not? But right now it's just the beauty of exercise. I think the beauty of going out and putting a few miles. I don't need to go 20 miles, or I don't need to go 40 miles to get that natural high. But for me right now is to stay healthy, whether that means 6 miles or 8 miles. And sometimes I bump into people and they want to go extra miles. I don't mind doing that. And, so what motivates me is that, my God-given talent, and whether we like it or not, when we go outside, I get inspired by people, seeing people running, whether I know them, I don't know them, and they feel the same way. They have an appreciation. Hey, today's hot. I'm not going to go out run. But when you go see somebody, hey, you know what, give them thumbs up or a wave. You are encouraging that person. They say, hey, we're in this together, even though we're not seen in person. So you have, and especially when you do the same routine, you see the people just walking their dog or just walking, and they get to know you. It's like, hey, nice form, keep it up and whatnot. And I'm like, I feel good today. You didn't see me in my heydays, but I'm good right now.
Like that dated you right there when you said heyday.
Yeah.
I know it has been kind of nice to be home on the weekends, hasn't it? Like, I love traveling, and don't get me wrong, I can't wait to get back out there and hopefully be commentating at all the races you're at, and hopefully high-fiving all the runners as they come through and things like that. But to be able to be home and to see all of my neighbors that actually run on the weekends, or, be outside kind of waving and chatting from our yard to our neighbor's yard, all of this, we don't want to be in this pandemic. We don't want to have social unrest. We don't want to have anything going on right now that is going on. But at the end of the day, we still can look at the good that we'll come away from.
Yeah, obviously the running has a lot of great science behind it, but also it connects you with people, not only when you're racing, but when you're running your usual routine, or when you get out the door, you see a neighbor and say hello, or with all the, social injustice or pandemic, you see people go outside for a walk. I know we need vitamin D, we need oxygen, but also when you're walking in the evening or in the morning, you see people, and people wave and say hello and whatnot. You obviously got to do your social distancing and whatnot, but at the same time, it just connects people in many ways. And I don't have to be like masses like we've done in the past. But at the same time, it's a great way to get to know your neighbors or your community in that way. And I think it's pretty exciting, and I think there's more people walking and exercising than before. So
for sure,
once they want to get a 5K time or 10K time or half marathon or try the marathon, I think there might be another running boom eventually.
I think so. They say that a lot of times, and these times we will come back with more runners. So yay, that's good for us. Meb, thank you so much for coming on here today and chatting with us. We also want to say thanks again to UCAN and CEP. And guess what? UCAN and CEP, they are offering a really cool discount for anyone that wants to go to UCAN or CEP's website. So listen to this. If you use the code UCANCEP, so UCAN CEP, UCANCEP, to save, you can save 20% off on CEP at cepcompression.com, and you can save 20% off on UCAN at ucan.co.co. So you guys, thank you, Meb, for being sponsored by these awesome companies. I love them as well, and I'm really excited for everyone that's been able to listen to get 20% off if you want to do that. Meb, stay healthy, stay safe. Thanks, you guys Carrie. Are amazing. You're so inspiring. So thank you so much.
Likewise, thank you, and thanks for CEP and UCAN. So if you haven't got a test yet or the product, CEP or UCAN, you're missing out. So check them out.
For sure. Thanks, Mab.
All right, take care.